Good evening, everyone. I'm just sitting here and laughing about me seeing myself um, in the picture, and I was like, "Am I gonna sit here and look at this strange person? I don't know who this is." But it feels beautiful to find out. So I'm looking forward to that. Mm. Let's just take a deep breath, land in together into our bodies, into the earth, and into the ending of this day. Yay. Mm. Today we will step into spiritual activation, the earth energy. Every sentient being on earth has a life force, and every life force has a period of time in which it is active and a period of time in which it is at rest. Good evening, Anders. Circling this sacred hoop of life is part of the journey for all beings. There's a reason that we don't disturb the life force of a being when its spirit has passed over and its remains are in a state of rest. It is an inherent understanding that it's the worst kind of bad medicine to dig up our relatives from their graves. When we disturb the natural harmony of Grandmother Earth by digging up remains, her oil, gas, and ore, we create imbalance, which will eventually manifest as suffering, disease, death, and destruction. We are all passive addicts of the petroleum industry, and we have to accept responsibility for that fact. Collectively, we must lead the transition of our energy uh, of our energy needs away from dirty fossil fuels toward renewable and regenerative energy sources. The biggest threat to our planet is apathy. Many people assume that some group of scientists must surely be working day and night in some secret lab to save the planet. Let's get real. No one is going to save us from ourselves. There is no someone else taking care of our trash and climate crisis. We are the ones we've been waiting for, and only we can do something about it. Hey, Katis, beautiful to have you here too. Natural elements are not just waiting around for humans to come and extract them in such destructive ways. As profitable resources, these elements serve other functions for Grandmother Earth. When humans are detached from the ways of the Mother, they carry out all sorts of ignorant atrocities, such as when humans think it's a good idea to build dams or divert water to control or cut off life-giving channels of energy. So much suffering comes as a result of ignorant humans trying to control the energy of sacred water. Stop and think about it for a moment. Stopping the migration routes of our salmon relatives creates cascading uh, instances of imbalance and suffering across multiple ecosystems. We must work with the energy of our natural elements, not against those energies. A dam is not the only solution for harness the power of water. If there is not a source of water for a city on a particular piece of land, then we should not build a city there. If there is a sacred mountain that no human should build upon, then we should not build there. These are uncomplicated concepts made complicated by humans who have no understanding of the spirit of the land. Spiritual intelligence tells us that we don't need to extract harmful fossil fuels for our energy. All we have to do is look to the indigenous ways of thinking about living in a good way, the sacred hoop of life, the medicine wheel, the ways of medicine and spirit, and the four sacred directions to find solutions. So, where do we get unlimited renewable energy? East, solar power from the sun. South, wind power from the air. West, water power from the water. And north, geothermal and biofuels from the earth. We've now learned so many ways to help bring harmony and balance back to the ways of the spirit of Grandmother Earth. She gives us abundance, and we must receive it responsibly. The easiest way to do so is to apply kindness, care, awareness, and spiritual intelligence to every choice we make, including our basic everyday activities. The journey from a linear mindset to a circular mindset. A linear mindset consists of thinking of getting from point A, product, to point B, profit. A circular mindset requires taking that process several steps further until you come all the way back around to the beginning. Point A to point B, and then what? What happens with all the trash we've created? What happens when we create things with the intention that they will become obsolete? What is the end of the line of the linear thought? The answers to seemingly difficult questions become clear when we think indigenous. A circular mindset mirrors the essence of nature's systems in relation to our food and material goods. It supports the health and well-being of the communities we live in, how we grow the food we eat, how we support the people who create what we use, and how we manage our spiritual relationship with the source of the material used from our grandmother Earth. It's a mindset and lifestyle respectful and reflective of how the earth creates, uses, nurtures, recovers, and balances her interconnected natural system. This circular medicine wheel mindset is also about bringing awareness to an ignored conversation about our misuse of resources. The environmental impact our throwaway culture has created on the planet, and how we can simplify our wants and needs to bring value back to our communities. It's about starting conversations about mindful consumption, inspiring each other, and living by example in the middle of our current throwaway culture. Each one of us can take ownership of the power we have and intentionally make less waste. When we do, we feel the satisfying emotional effects of slowing down, simplifying our busy lives, and putting meaning and value back into our belongings, communities, and environment. There's a common saying that if we want to change the world, then we need to be that change. It's so simple, and yet it embodies a clear message that our lifestyles, habits, and actions are the foundation of creating this change. Nothing has ever happened on its own without the individual, consistent dedication of many people acting on their convictions. The world we desire, which I imagine would be peaceful, tolerant, compassionate, balanced, and wise, won't exist unless we become what we want to see. Andrea Sanders, founder of the biomindfulness movement. Mm. In order to make this change, we need to do the work. We have to open ourselves up to something new, separate ourselves from the noise, labels, and boxes in order to do something bigger than ourselves. The way to live in the circular mindset is to mimic nature, which is a notion of living with the natural systems of the earth. It begins with a sense of value, community, responsibility, ownership, and simplicity that weaves through our lives and creates the fabric of our communities and culture. Being mindful of our consumption is not about achieving some level of zero waste perfection, nor is it only some more stuff for us to do in our already busy lives. Mindful consumption is our way of being in a committed relationship with ourselves and Grandmother Earth. Ah, okay, I'm going to say that again. Mindful consumption is our way of being in a committed relationship with ourselves and Grandmother Earth. Mmm, beautiful. The way of the village. You want to be tough. You want to be a warrior. You want to be invincible. Then show the whole world your heart. Doug Goodfeather. Indigenous cultures strive to identify and honor each person's unique identity. They collectively support each person's distinct value and contribution to the community. This comes from the mindset that everyone is important because everyone is a teacher. We need to encourage others to find their calling and the role they are most inclined to do. We must not judge anyone because we have no idea what storm the Creator asked that person to walk through. However, holding someone responsible for deliberately compromising their morals is not judging them, it's holding them accountable to their role and behavior in the unified family. It can be frustrating trying to find a community that fits who we are, let alone what role we serve. Unfortunately, the ways of the modern world encourage us to envy each other. If somebody's better at something than we are, we might envy them a bit. But what we have to remember is that they are not naturally endowed with that skill or talent. They had to work hard to perfect the skill and practice to become an expert. If you envy someone else's ability to paint or sing, then that is setting aside your own natural skills and talents. The answer is not to compete and force yourself into a role that is unnatural for you. Instead, find your passion, what you are naturally inclined to do, and practice that skill until you become an expert. Your role will be upheld and revered as much as everyone else's. Culture is when people in a community share a belief system of values and objectives, and it's where we collaborate in a way that's for the best and highest good of the community. Mm, that's beautiful. And I think it's a very beautiful place to stop for today. Tomorrow we will talk about the collective impact, uh, about how home feels, and see, there's not many pages left now. And probably also life with a healing community. So we're stepping into how to live in a community where there is space for everyone to grow, and how we create a culture of trust and love which benefits all. Mm. Thank you all so much for tonight. Let's take a deep breath together and release this day and all it has brought to make us ourselves ready for this night, the dream time, and everything it gives. Mm. Thank you so much. Mm.